guys, welcome to Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com, Editor-in-Chief, Ryan Satin. This week, I am not joined by my normal co-hosts. Elijah had a work thing that popped up at the last minute. Had Rachel step in for him. Rachel Sam Evans, welcome back.
Hello.
And then as Rachel was pulling up, I texted Jamie asking him where it was, and he's like, dude, I'm in Mexico still. And I'm like, oh, shit, probably should have been checking his Instagram to see that. And so thankfully, John Rocha was able to step in at the last second. John Rocha from our recap shows. John, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Hey, you fans said you wanted New Year's resolution to be on Wrestle Sheet Radio more. Well, there you go.
And Rachel too. I got more.
There we go.
More people on Wrestling Sheet Radio. You got what you asked for.
Thank you for liking us.
Yeah, right.
And I know you've already kind of wanted to talk about some of the stuff that's been going on, Rocha, because I sometimes had to stop Rocha from bringing up newsworthy things on our recap shows to leave me something to talk about here on Wrestling Sheet Radio. And I think, at least to me, in my opinion, the biggest story of the week was everything going on with All Elite Wrestling.
Sure.
I think that, obviously, Mean Gene's passing was terrible, sad, obviously, legend, huge legacy in the industry, and we'll get to that later. But I have I've been bursting at the seams to talk about All Elite Wrestling, not just in 140 characters on Twitter. It all started with the announcement that happened on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day at midnight. They put out their episode of Being the Elite, and it ended with the announcement of Double or Nothing happening, the follow-up to All In, which is awesome news, and also ended with the announcement of All Elite Wrestling being an actual promotion that they're going to be working on. Shortly after we broke on the site that Tony Khan, who is part of the Khan family, who own the Jacksonville Jaguars, they own Fulham FC. They also tried to buy Wembley Stadium recently.
It's Fulham, just so
what did I say?
For the person who hosts a Premier League show, it's Fulham, not Fulham.
I don't know what either of those are.
You should be happy I even mentioned it, Rocha. Because I had to go back in the original post because I had a lot of people. I'm like, whoa, he was all those on Fulham FC. And I was like, I don't really even know what that is technically, but I'll add it. He owns that. And, it's funny because he's going to be the president of the company. He's been the one kind of like pulling all the strings behind the scenes. And I noticed today, actually, a lot of people kind of digging up old social media and wrestling-related things from Tony Khan. And it's clear this dude's a huge wrestling fan. And not only that, but it seems like he's a big indie wrestling fan, which I think is pretty big. I think we've talked in the past about All Elite Wrestling. I think we were talking this week about how some of the other billionaires who have kind of got involved in wrestling in the past, they weren't necessarily wrestling fans. They were doing it for content, for money, and I'm assuming Tony is doing it for those same reasons as well. But the fact that he's a huge wrestling fan, I think, speaks volumes. I saw, I guess he was posting little kind of like smarky comments on Twitter from 2012. Someone dug up old tweets, and it was talking about how Ring of Honor hasn't been the same since CM Punk and Bryan Danielson left, and how it's not going to be the same once Cesaro leaves either. And it was like, oh, so this guy's a serious smart. He's following those kinds of people.
But you wouldn't Cody Rhodes wouldn't just go with Mr. Moneybags. The person who ventured with him would have to be a fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that he found it.
I think that actually is the biggest key to all of this. Is I think that All In Weekend, everyone was saying, well, this can't end. This can't be a one-time thing. It's got to continue. The fact that a billionaire walked into the backstage area during the event and said hey, I want to be that person to help it continue on. That's fate right there, And I think that you can even look back with Tony Khan and see he was ringside at Money in the Bank multiple times. He's been ringside for WWE shows. He's a big WWE fan. I even saw a thing on Reddit where he critiqued an entire WWE show. I think it was a house show that he went to, and he sent in a report to Dave Meltzer. And so it's him star rating everything, and it's pretty funny. It's funny because one of the matches is Cody Rhodes, and it got I think it was 1.5 stars. And it was him critiquing the match, not saying negative things about Cody. He said, I think if I recall in the write-up, he said something like, I like both these wrestlers, but something was kind of off between the two of them. But Rachel, what do you think? I know you're a big indie person. You love indie wrestling. What do you think about the idea of this promotion so far?
Oh, it's the best. I mean, I think that this is going to change. I think a lot of things have changed the face of professional wrestling in the past 2 years, but I think this will actually it's a renaissance. You know how renaissance, in the classical sense, is a collective shift of perspective and thought? That's what this is. This is a collective shift of perspective and thought. There's real money behind this. There's if McMahon needs to see a billionaire to feel like there's competition there, then he's got it. So like if Cody and that whole thing didn't scare him and he was having fun with it and whatever, then now there's real competition. And I think that only breeds a better product. So I'm excited for the WWE, and I'm excited for these indie promotions that there's more to work towards now. You know, I feel like you hear from I love indie wrestling more than anything, but if you talk to most indie wrestlers, their ultimate goal is the WWE because they want to be on the largest stage that they can possibly be on. And if there's another option, a more inclusive option, like less stigmatized option now, like amazing.
Yeah.
There's another thing to work towards. I think this will only be good for everybody. And I am so happy that like Brandy's the chief brand officer. Like this is, oh, that's funny. Her name. Great.
I didn't think about that either. That's funny.
Just had to say it out loud. But I just think that I think that they're doing everything right. I think, you know, I've said a million times, like, look at your top level. If they all look the same, you're doing something wrong. And they did that. And they didn't have to. And, God, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, even the president. I mean, the president network is not a old white dude, you know, who's been in wrestling forever. And I agree with you in the Renaissance terms. You know, it does feel that way. Like, you know, I know that other billionaires have gotten involved in wrestling before, but like, no one that's had their finger on the pulse of like what wrestling fans want. Like,
not a mark. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like, and so I agree with you. I think that some of the decisions they're making off the bat seem like very good decisions. I think that it seems like they're going to get TV. I mean, it seems to me, you know, from when I poke around, when I ask around about it, it doesn't seem like we're trying. It seems like an inevitable thing.
For sure, it's inevitable. I mean, like, I don't think that it's going to start small. Like, I don't think it's going to be like fight exclusives. Like, I think that it's going to go big pretty quickly.
And I'm of the belief that you have to do that. I think that, you know, like when TNA did it back in the day when they were like, now we're going to go head to head with WWE, I think it was a little bit different. I think you need to like, from the jump, be like, hey, we're treating this as a big thing. This isn't like a, hey, we're the alternative, or like, and it's like, hey, this is the wrestling you want to watch.
What I think they're what I shouldn't say what I think. What I would do if I were in their position, free advice from just me, little me. I would, from what it seems like they're doing is following all of these stadiums, it seems like they're going to go on this huge blowout, like inaugural tour.
Yes.
And I think that's the move. Yep. Make all of that money. Because that's where the money is, right? That's where the money is.
Yep.
Even for the WWE, like that's where the money is touring. So go on this huge tour, take as much time as you need. I would say no more than a year and a half. And then have some sort of pay-per-view. And then after that, like snowball into a TV deal. I think take your time.
Yeah, I know. I think you're right. I think that my guess is, okay, so let's say timeline-wise, right? They have an announcement next week. And my guess is if they're going to do a follow-up to All In, they're going to make it Memorial Day weekend again. Like, that's my guess. I don't have that's not with inside info, but I'd guess, like, you know, that's when the last one was. That's probably when the next one will be. So that leaves, like, you know, 8 months or whatever, 9 months to, you know, do stuff. And they have to fill up that time some way. So I agree with you. Like, doing shows, like, to kind of build to a Double or Nothing, where Double or Nothing is like their WrestleMania type thing. It would seem to make sense. I do think that like they're gonna have a slower schedule to start off, though. You would think like they're not gonna, because they followed a lot of arenas. They followed like a full year's worth of arenas if they were gonna follow that concept.
I mean, and I do think part of that is too like the shit that we all do, where you follow somebody and you're like, I want to talk to you about something. Like, hey man, I got a proposition for you.
I think it's way more strategic than that.
No, for sure it is. But it'd be great if they were just like following like huge like staples. Be like, hey man, you want to talk real quick? I would love that.
Well, I wonder if the Goldberg thing. I don't know if you've seen this, Rocha, but there's been rumors, you know, that Goldberg might be involved. All Elite, you know, obviously in a talent perspective, it seems like.
Right.
And you know, so there was rumors of it. I believe it's because his agent Barry Bloom is also kind of like helping in some way with contract type stuff, since he has experience with that. And then after the rumors came out, Goldberg then followed All Elite Wrestling and Double or Nothing on Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you think? And I know you're a big WWE, you know, WCW guy. Do you think Goldberg brings anything to the table still with the group?
Actually, no. And I think that's what bothers me when I hear something like that. If you're going to be All Elite Wrestling, if you're going to be Young Bucks, if you're going to be, shades of Japan Jericho, if you're going to bring all these people in from an indie wrestling vibe, the indie wrestling vibe is not like, let's get the old people to come be, you know what I'm saying? Like to compare it, I don't know if a lot of people know, but to compare it to soccer, right? The Major League Soccer, they bring in people who are past their prime from Europe to try to drum up ticket sales for a team and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well, okay, that's nice, but it shows that your league is not at that level. And so that tells me that if you bring Goldberg in, you're feeling like you need to do these kinds of things to get the attention from the people. And the truth is, I want them to be like CM Punk, like irreverent. Like I want them to be their own thing and be different. And I disagree with you guys to a degree. I think they should come out the gate full on guns blazing, go after him, and put the WWE on its heels.
Put him on blast.
Yeah, put him on blast.
Right away.
Just go after him, and you like.
But there's been going after someone like Goldberg. Kind of does that. Like it's like, hey, look at screw you guys. We can take one of your last Universal champions. We signed
but it's
him.
a guy who's past. Like it'd be different if they got someone who's like what WCW did, bringing in Nash and Hall. Those guys were in their prime when they rolled up into WCW.
Totally.
If they were to find people in their prime to roll up into All Elite and add to all the stuff that's going on, then yes, at that point you've done a hell of a move. But Goldberg already gets shit for not being the greatest wrestler, for being a 4-move wrestler, for being a concoction, and even when he came back at WWE, he won those matches in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and it was not an impressive run.
It's not like he had this incredible thing. So
no.
Yes, is he over with the fans? Absolutely, people love Goldberg, but I don't think he's the name.
I don't even know about
yeah,
that.
maybe. So then, even more so, even more so.
The way I feel about okay. So when
listen as Rachel tries to be diplomatic.
No, and I take your points. Your points are well.
No, it's not even you. It's me. It's not you. It's me. When you see legends go into WWE, they're used like props.
Yep.
And I think we're all very traumatized by that. What was that? What was that?
I got it. I got where you're going.
Cool.
With it.
It's been a great day for me. My toe got ran over by a car.
What?
Oh.
It was nuts. Whatever. That's all we're talking about.
Stop.
No,
Tell us.
I'm fine.
But
It was
how'd
just
that happen?
I was standing near a car,
Like
and
in a
he
parking lot?
Yeah, and then he just started rolling backwards, and then I said, "Oh, my toe," and then they stopped, and I'm fine.
Did they finish rolling over it
Or
though?
did they stop on top of your?
Or did
No,
they stop right as it was
It
kind of
cracked
like?
my shoe.
Oh damn!
Yeah, not these shoes. Thank God. These are my good shoes. They're really good.
Those are cool shoes.
Thank you very much. Podcasting. But when you see legends going to WWE, we're all very traumatized by that experience because they're not treated well. They're treated like props, and like it doesn't help anybody in the company. But when you see legends go into the indie scene, like recently I saw D'Lo go. Who was he fighting? Willie Mack, I think.
Okay.
No, maybe they're tagging, whatever, at Bar Wrestling. And he was just having fun. And like, yeah, were the moves not the best? Yeah, no. Right. But he was having so much fun, and that's why he was there. And the moment at the end where everybody was just appreciating him for being there, like, thanks. Hey, thanks for hanging out on our little old thing. I don't know. There's a lot more appreciation there. And I would hope that mentality is also in All Elite, because we saw that in All In. Like, we saw just the pure fun.
I was going to bring that up, yeah.
Just the pure fun of being there. It's just so fun to be there. That being said, I don't think Goldberg is the type to just go in and muck about. Like, I don't think he's the type to go in and have a little fun.
He's a notorious curmudgeon.
Yeah.
He's very he's very protective of his brand.
Right.
Very much will only do his thing.
He has admitted that last run kind of like shed him of that like curmudgeon-y feeling towards the wrestling industry.
He shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Yeah, but I still...
He beat nobody without it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I agree with you. Like, he's very protective of his brand.
Yeah.
And if he performs, it's gonna have to be fun and
as a
silly.
GM, I could see it as a GM or something like. Well,
what about as an announcer?
That would.
What about as an
make my
announcer?
Skin crawl.
Yeah.
What about like as an announcer?
He's got a deep voice.
Yeah.
I think he's done some MMA broadcast work. I think.
Right.
I think I saw that somewhere. I could be making that up. But I also agree with you guys in the sense that, like, I don't really see what Goldberg brings to the table.
But if you bring Jericho in, that's something, right?
Yeah.
Jericho brings legendary status, contemporary of Goldberg, but people love what he's done in New Japan. He's not off trying to host freaking motorcycle shows.
Yes.
He's like doing his thing. He's still a wrestler.
But also at All In, I do think that they did a really good job of taking legendary wrestlers, and utilizing them in ways that weren't stupid. Like for
DDP?
example, like DDP, and Road Warrior, Animal. Oh wait, Animal's the dead one, right? No, Animal's the one's live. Animal's Road Warrior Animal.
Hawk is the
Hawk's the dead one. Road Warrior Animal, when he came out during the pre-show and had the whole kind of like motorcycle moment, I think that those kind of things showed that like they do want to kind of like give back to the guys who kind of paved the way a little bit, and not necessarily just, to me it seems like they want to be like WCW, less WWF, WWE, and they want to be WCW.
It's fan focused. I think that their emphasis is on being fan focused, and they listen to the fans, and I think and they are the fans, run by the fans. So it's you know, I think that if he does come back, we won't be disappointed by it. I don't think it'll hurt anything because I think they're smart and they know how to book it. But much better than me. I can't imagine what he would do, honestly.
I also think it's interesting, like you said. I do think that it takes someone like a billionaire getting into the game to kind of amp Vince up a little bit.
Oh, sure.
Oh, billionaires, I feel like only see billionaires.
Yeah, totally.
Like everybody else is just like, do you remember that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where everybody turned into a gray blob, where everybody's that to a billionaire, and then they see a person and it's just like, woohoo! Oh my god, a person I can talk to.
That's 100% how I think it is, and it's also like, you know, we've been saying, I think every wrestling fan has this feeling when they watch Raw of like it's clear a 70-year-old man is in charge of the show.
Yeah,
sure.
You know, and I think that you would think that it would have to be a little intimidating to be that 70-year-old man and have this young person who is a billionaire as well, who kind of probably reminds him of himself a little bit. Like,
I bet it's not intimidating. He's a shark. Like the hubris on this man. I think that it's not intimidating. I think he's like, ooh,
okay.
Yay.
More excitement than
like an arch
intimidation,
nemesis. Like you want them to be alive so you can hurt them.
True.
Yeah. Also, somebody out there is going to be really excited about that Fairly Odd Parents reference.
Someone
Just
will.
letting you know.
I never watched it.
It's really good.
It's
a
a
good
little
show.
bit after my time. You watched that show?
Oh, Fairly Odd Parents is very fun.
It's not after anybody's time. It's a good show with good values.
Rick is like saying Rick and Morty is past your time. No, those Fairly Odd Parents hangs.
Fairly Odd Parents was definitely geared towards children.
But
no,
what isn't? You know?
Not only.
Fairly Odd Parents?
Not only. Look at the voiceover work the voiceover actors that were on that. Pretty good voiceover work.
Pretty good.
Yep. David Allen Greer, I think, if I'm right.
Just because I was 12 when I was watching it doesn't mean that it's not also for adults.
Yeah, you were a little too old to watch that show.
Well, no, I'm a
No.
voiceover guy, so for me, I watch all that stuff to see the
So you watch
styles.
you're a big cartoon guy?
Yeah. I have to be. I
no,
have to be.
That makes sense. Your voice sounds very good in my ears.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no,
That's
wow.
very kind of you.
Why do you think I asked him to be the host of the recap show, right? First day when I came in here, I was like, oh, yeah, Rocha, recap host. Great.
Yeah, but then I get like this. I don't understand what you're talking about. Yeah. But
That's me all the time.
the billionaire stuff is interesting, too, because Khan is the son of a billionaire.
Yes.
So he's more of a Shane contemporary, if anything.
That's true.
So I wonder what relationship Vince has with Khan's father. What's his name? Amir Khan?
yes,
no.
yes.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Shere Khan or something like that. I don't know. Wait,
Shao
is it
Kahn.
That
Tiger?
sounds like Shere Khan.
Shao Kahn, yeah.
His father's in the Jungle Book.
Yeah, he owns the Jaguars. I know that much, and he was involved in that whole kneeling or should not kneel that thing. He was involved in that.
Which side was he on?
He was. He went with his players.
Oh, so he
whatever
was
the
the-
players did, he went arm in arm with his
Yes.
players.
But what'd they do?
I don't know if they kneeled or not.
Okay.
I was gonna say, hold on a second before
I
you
think
do
they
that.
did kneel. I think they did
I
kneel.
feel like if they're
I
not the
could've sworn I saw
Patriots,
a
I
picture
feel like
of
they
him
kneeled.
standing.
Yeah, he was standing with his players. I know that, but I don't know if he kneeled with his players. But I think he spoke out and said they have a right to do what they want to do.
That's right, they do.
Shahid Khan.
Shahid Khan and the
Jaguars
brother
owner
Abstract.
who stood
That
with
is
his team, has
so
long espoused
close
the
to
American
Shao Kahn.
dream.
Shahid Khan and the brother Abstract. I think it's from Tribe Called Quest. So I love this idea because it isn't like Ted Turner getting involved, right? Ted Turner, WCW, it was just money. Time Warner was about money.
Right.
With this, it feels very reminiscent of Glow. Remember Glow, the TV show?
Oh, sure.
That guy gets involved. He has money, wants to do something
Now, wow.
with that money.
Does kind of feel very reminiscent
Right?
of Glow. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, with
but this guy's
a
legitimate.
billionaire, but
Right.
yeah.
And wrestlers.
right.
I also think it was smart, to keep the dynamic of All In, the creative wise. I've been told that Cody is going to still be executive producer of the
Sure,
events, similar to Dusty Rhodes, and the Young Bucks will be the bookers of the operation, which makes sense. being the Elite was their thing prior to Cody getting there, and then I think that Cody getting there really helped a lot of it. But I mean, they've clearly been a huge creative force on this, and have been able to get talent over like Flip Gordon and their whole entire cast of characters basically.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good idea to keep them in that regard.
Who do you think's gonna be? How do you think they're gonna like keep their? How are they gonna function as a company? Like, can't be exclusive. They wouldn't do that.
What do you mean?
Oh, with
I'm
wrestlers?
trying to think about the wrestlers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they're signing people to deals.
Yeah.
Exclusive deals.
Well, Trevor Lee just left Impact.
He did. I think he's heading to WWE though.
Really?
I think he's going to be in the next class of talent,
Really?
the next NXT class.
Why does that surprise me so much?
It surprised me too, but not because I don't like Trevor
No,
Lee. I
he's
think
great.
Trevor Lee's
He's
great.
great.
He doesn't seem like someone they're going to like
He doesn't have
rush up the chain in NXT or WWE or anything like that. It seems like he would have a very long battle there. But from what I heard,
Wow.
the way that from what I heard, Impact sources was like he was trying to get out to go to NXT.
This is the way it has to be.
Brian Cage?
If you're going,
No,
sure.
he's signed to NXT or signed to Impact.
This is the way it has to be, though. If you're going to go this route, you cannot have the NWA TNA model. You can't, or the Lucha Underground model. You just can't.
Nope.
Yeah.
It has to be exclusive because exclusive implies importance.
Well,
And-
Lucha Underground did
You know?
sign people to exclusive deals, but then it's just like the dedication wasn't there. I mean, El
Right.
Rey's already given up on it.
Well,
No
also,
offense. I know you love it.
What's wrong? What-
never give up.
She's a huge Lucha Underground fan.
Oh, I like it.
It's just I don't think they're coming back.
I talked to what's his face when they were first starting it, Guerrero, Chavo, because Chavo was over
Yeah.
at Geek, whatever network. Oh, Geek Nation. I was hosting a show at the time there for Star Wars when I first started out doing this whole business, and Chavo was there, and I'm a big fan of Guerrero, so I walked in, and he was telling me about it. He's like, "You got to watch this, man. It's our first season, blah blah blah." I watched it. It was wacky as f.
Oh, I
and
loved
I was
it.
just like, "This is nuts. I've never seen anything like it."
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
so when we were doing the recaps with Aaron, he would get me to watch these things, and they were nuts.
Well, that's
So-
why I put Aaron and him together,
Yeah,
or
Rachel,
Aaron
yeah.
and Rachel
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
because they were like both Lucha Underground fanatics.
Cage
So
is
that's
great.
I'm a huge fan of Lucha Underground. I still have hope, but hey,
I actually, to be honest with you, I'm kind of hoping that they
Did El Rey
announce
kill
something
it?
about like how it's done, because I feel bad for all those guys that are stuck in those contracts.
but they're not.
Yes, they are.
Kind of.
What do you mean?
Like they
can't do TV. They can't sign with All Elite Wrestling if they're signed to a Lucha Underground contract.
You're right.
now.
You're totally right.
can't?
I mean,
No.
they have like.
They can work, but they can't work on
They
TV
can work,
unless
yeah.
they're working on Impact, so
Yeah,
or
they have
CMLL.
they have special deals and stuff, and like AAA and stuff. But like
Yeah.
they have special
Sorry,
deals.
AAA, not CMLL.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're totally right, and I do think that it's not like anybody's trying to fuck anybody over. Like if there is, I hope not. Listen, I'm a hopeful.
You
I'm
lock
a
someone
fan.
down to a 70-season deal that has no end date whatsoever, and you're not trying to screw someone over.
That is okay. So I'm not empathizing because I don't know these people.
Okay.
You know, like I like the show and I covered the show for 3 years.
Yeah.
But speaking from like a business mind, they are working from a place of fear. You know, you don't know how long something's going to happen, and so you want to insure it for as long as you can.
Yes.
But that being said, I do think that like if such a great opportunity comes along, like it would be in their best nature or best interest to let somebody like Brian Cage go and say, hey, thank you for your time and service, and like we don't know when we're coming back, so we'll allow you to work so you can feed your children. Like
That's how I look at it. Where I'm like, I know there are people who have asked for their release from Lucha Underground that have not gotten it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that hurts my heart to know.
That's why I say that.
Is it because they haven't officially killed it?
Correct?
I would hate to live inside of your head for a day. Honestly, just all of my dreams. Like my dreams slowly get shattered every day talking about wrestling professionally and
Oh, wow.
professional wrestling.
You're still
professionally.
young, aren't you, Rachel?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, she is.
I am, and I'm
Still got time, man.
still a fan. And
I remember those days.
Yeah, but like I love that because it just means I'm learning.
Yeah, true.
The
And you should
angrier
enjoy
I
that.
get, the wiser I get.
Right, so how it goes.
Lastly, on the
talking
All
about?
Elite Wrestling
And then you
topic.
start meditating. Yeah.
Yeah. I did that for the first time yesterday.
Oh,
Did you enjoy it?
nice.
Bored.
Yeah.
boring.
It
It's
can
so
be.
boring. They're like,
sorry, Al.
That's okay.
I'm a big
They're
dude,
like,
sorry.
pay attention to your breath. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? What?
That sounds
I'm,
awful.
I'm too Jewish, honestly.
Yeah.
I think we're too Jewish.
Yeah,
I think
super. Yeah, way too Jewish for that.
Yeah,
It's really-
because somebody says pay attention to your breath. What are you talking about?
Hey, what are you talking
Wow,
about?
I love
Okay.
it. Okay.
I'm gonna go back to watching TV.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna call my mom again.
I'm feeling too peaceful. I don't like it.
Don't leave me alone with my thoughts.
Lastly, on the All Elite Wrestling front, they've also said they're going to do a rally next week for Double or Nothing. They're going to kind of give more details there. It says it's going to feature special guests, inside info, and it's going to showcase the true spirit of wrestling entrepreneurialism. Mm-hmm. That's a long, hard word.
True spirit. Huh.
Yeah, I like that word. I like that in the press release. They're going to stream it online. They said they're going to stream it online. It says the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, are right with me in committing to deliver on our promise to change the wrestling landscape in 2019, and the Double or Nothing event is just the start. The time to change the world is now. They also reportedly signed Britt Baker to a deal as well to further show that like they're going to be doing women's wrestling stuff, which I think is great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rachel and I already texted about this the other day when the whole New Japan women's wrestling thing got brought up.
I had such a fun time on Twitter that day. That was such a fun time.
Was it more fun than all the shit you got for saying that?
I only ever get shit.
For getting the Sports Illustrated thing?
The Sports Illustrated thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was a really good time. I also feel like I have to defend myself and say, like, I didn't say anyone had to write the article. I was just saying if you're going to write a retrospective of 2018 as it relates to women's wrestling, it might be cool to have a woman write it. Not saying anything against the person who wrote it.
Fair point.
I thought so too, and it wasn't even a point. It was just like a thing that I tweeted, and then so many people yelled at me, and then so many people quote tweeted, and they're like, "This triggered hoe," and I was like, "You're right."
Oh, what?
Well, when you're right, you're right. Call a spade a spade. I wasn't triggered hoe.
What is happening?
I know.
Wow.
Rachel's got a wild world on social media.
I gotta follow you.
Realize
I
it.
follow you, but I gotta pay
fun.
attention more.
Yeah.
Jesus,
It's a good time.
this is insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the people were mad about that one.
I was just like, hey,
It's a
man.
valid point.
It wasn't, and the thing is too, I wasn't like trying to make some like declaration of professional wrestling journalism. I wasn't like making some huge statement for the state of women in wrestling. I was just like, hey man, this would have been cool to be read. Like, as a woman, would love to have read this if it was by a woman.
It did kind of read like she was making a big statement.
Really?
I was just like,
I gotta find this.
I was like, maybe no. Okay, so in my head,
Siri, find triggered hoe.
my face just pops up. It's an amber alert, but it's a purple alert.
I'm trying to find where you said it
God.
now,
I was
so
like,
that Rocha
okay,
can be in the know.
Okay,
here.
I want you to read it how you read it in your head, and then I'm gonna re-say it how I thought about it.
Okay, I got it. So the headline said. From Jordan Grace to Ronda Rousey to Becky Lynch, Justin Barrasso counts down the top women's wrestlers of 2018. And Rachel quote tweeted it, and she said, "Cool list. Couldn't have commissioned a female journalist for this one?
Oh.
Maybe? No."
Okay, so here's how
That's a little triggering. I would agree with that.
Okay,
I agree with this.
Okay, so here's the problem that I have. My mom tells me I have this problem all the time.
Okay.
My cadence does not translate via text, and that's why I don't write well.
Right.
I'm not a good writer because I can't. I'm too in my head.
Yeah.
And so literally the way that I said that in my head was, "Hey, cool list." But you couldn't have, and then the way that I'm like a kid sister, I was like, oh, you couldn't have commissioned a woman for this? Maybe? No. And so I will only voice memo for the rest of my life. I'm never going to type another thing. I'm just going to speak into the phone, and so you guys can hear my intention.
No, I get the same thing all the time. No, I get similar where it's like, I'm like I'm really not an angry dude. Like, I'm a pretty positive dude.
Yeah.
Like, I laugh
Passionate.
a lot all the time. I'm passionate,
Sure.
yes. But I'm, like, very positive. Like, even Mark Ellis was like, people think you're an unhappy, angry dude. And I was like, yeah, literally everyone. And he was like, you literally are laughing every day, like 24/7. I was like, I don't know, man. People are really mad at me all the time. They think I hate everything. And I had the same thing where, like, I'll tweet something, like, not even mad. I'll be going poop. And I'll just be like, and, like, do a dumb little, like, that's dumb, or, like, something like that. And then it's like, public declaration. So I get it.
That's exactly what, and when we talked about it, I totally understood the other. I totally understood the other side, and mean, the thing that I didn't like, the thing that was actually triggering is when you're in the comments saying, like, you couldn't just be happy for what you get, woman.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there are women in the ring and you can't just be happy. Well, first of all, honey, no. Like, if you're going to tell me that no, not that, now you're triggering me. But everything else, I'm fine with. Justin, go on. Live your life. Get your bag, baby.
Yeah, some of these people did really get mad at you here in the comments.
so ridiculous.
They're mad.
Wait, if people aren't,
they're so
what's the?
mad.
Just in case if people are listening, what's the Twitter account so they can follow along?
It's Rachel Sam Evans.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
where it is.
it's
There you
my
go.
name. It's people got really mad.
Or Rachel
and
Sam Vans.
It really depends on how your brain works, honestly.
That was a funny one. We were texting back and forth about that one. I was like, man, you were getting roasted.
Yeah.
Did Justin ever say anything back to you either?
No,
he
no,
didn't have
because,
DM,
like,
nothing.
It wasn't like, I'm sure he saw my tweet and was like, yeah, whatever.
He's a very mellow, like low key dude. So
And
yeah,
also,
he probably didn't.
and that was what broke my heart the most. Not broke my heart, God, the drama. So you see how my words can be misconstrued. It, but like, what got me was like, I don't want him to think I don't hate this guy.
Yeah.
That's I don't care. I just think that if you're Sports Illustrated, you probably have the means and the reach to find a woman to write that list.
You do.
Valid point.
You certainly
Valid
do.
point.
But go on, baby. Do you?
All right, let's move topics here a little bit because I don't want to make Rachel defend herself too much.
I love it.
But Rocha and I, we talked about
Yeah.
Mean Gene's passing on the recap show this week for Smackdown. Obviously, super bummer. But when we were talking about the cause of death, I at the time had said it hadn't been revealed yet, and my assumption on the situation was very wrong. It was actually exactly what I thought it wasn't. So apparently, Todd Okerlund, his son, talked to TMZ and said that basically last month, Mean Gene fell at home, and that like he had already kind of been like failing. His health was declining, and that he fell at home and broke multiple ribs. And so then he was kind of like, he was not doing well. And then he was taken to the hospital and kind of like in and out of the hospital until he was put into a nursing home. And when they put him in the nursing home a few days later, he was having trouble breathing and he passed away. Super sad, obviously. You hate to hear about someone who brought you so much joy going through pain. That shit sucks. But I just wanted to one more time just kind of like talk a little bit about like maybe just kind of like some of the stuff that we saw on social media this week in his passing. I thought it was kind of interesting. Just like I just, as I said earlier, I think it's interesting to see like how beloved he really was in the industry. Even Vince McMahon was commenting on it. Vince said it was impossible not to crack a smile whenever Mean Gene Okerlund entered a room. He was the voice behind so many of WWE's most iconic and entertaining moments, and the WWE family will miss him immensely. You're more of a 90s kid like myself, but
Yeah.
you kind of like, you see Mean Gene, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. My dad used to show me clips of him constantly, and he had them recorded onto these like VHS tapes. And so to me, he was this like, I thought he was like an old Hollywood star because you would put the tape in. I thought it was like a movie. And so to me, wrestling was my whole world when I was a kid. And I thought like every, like a superhero were wrestlers. And to me, he was like the narrator. He was the Morgan Freeman. Like he was the narrator of life.
Yep.
And so when I have like, I haven't had dreams in like 2 years. But when I used to dream, and I would dream, and I would have like old wrestling dreams, he would always be the one announcing, and he would always be the one like he's in my head constantly. Like, I just love the guy so much, and like it's so heartening to hear about. And it's kind of creepy, right? But it's so heartening to hear about all the stories about him backstage as well. How he was constantly making people laugh and just bringing people so much joy. And it's so easy to be not great in that environment for that amount of time, and he was consistently great and came back and was consistently great, and like I'm real bummed, but at least I had my dreams. Maybe I'll get him back.
I was gonna say, you don't have dreams at all anymore?
No.
Like,
What's
not
my
even the ones
problem?
where like you wake up and you kind of remember, but then it goes away.
I get frights, so I don't get
Frights are the worst.
I don't like scream or anything, but I get like I'm like, whoa, there was a woman next to me.
Yep.
Yeah,
I have those.
Yeah.
Those are the worst.
That
They're
is
really
sketchy.
You ever had the ones where you wake up and you can't move?
Yeah,
No.
sleep paralysis.
Yeah, sleep paralysis.
It's truly
I have
the
that
worst
shit.
thing.
Really?
That shit is the worst.
Do you have it? Do you have it where you see people?
Yes.
No way.
I've seen
That's so bad.
shadowy figures on the right side of, I've had that happen. It's usually when I'm super, super tired and I fall asleep quickly without knowing.
Yeah.
It's usually without knowing. All of a sudden you're asleep and then you realize as you're waking up what's happening and you see these things. You're like, did I just see that or not? And then your brain goes, who cares? Don't think about it. Move on. Like you don't want to know that it's there.
No, you don't. And like you're knocked. It's because you're knocked out of REM, and so like your brain is still dreaming, but your eyes are receiving images to your brain, to your cognizant brain. So you're seeing your dreams essentially.
Oh, crazy!
But the craziest part of sleep paralysis is that a lot of people report seeing the same woman, and and it's not. It's okay. They see the same woman, like a frazzled haired witchy woman.
Wow.
And it's not just like 20 people in one small town. It's not like Mothman shit. It's like 300 people from around the world have seen the same woman.
Yeah, no, I Googled it. Yeah, that's
And it shows up.
Sketchy.
That is horror.
It has to be a horror movie. At
That's
some
horror.
point. If Slender Man can get a movie, this thing should get a movie.
Oh, that's true horror, honestly. That keeps me up at night.
For me, it's the same dream a lot of the time in sleep paralysis. It's the
Really?
same dream. I go to some underground concrete basement and different people show up all the time
That
who are
is not
renting the
fun.
area out and I can't seem to get away from them and I'm moving into different rooms with potholes in the middle of floors.
Whoa,
It's
what
Whoa.
wicked. And it's
Hell,
over and
that's
over and over and
crazy.
over. It's the same dream over and
How
over.
long?
Oh, man. I don't. Well, you mean how long have I had them? Or
Yes, how long have you had
maybe since I was a teenager.
That dream?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's very recurring.
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know because when it happens, I go, okay, I'm here again. Like in my mind, I'm like, in a weird way, it's a place of comfort, but I also know it scares the hell out of me while I'm experiencing it. But I got to get out of it, and then eventually I wake up. But it's
When's the
weird.
last time it happened?
Maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I had worked a real long day here and recorded a podcast, and when I got home, I literally just laid on the couch and was out, and all of a sudden, I'm back in that concrete basement or whatever.
I've only ever gotten sleep paralysis on a couch.
Yes.
At work.
Wow, that's
Oh, yeah.
crazy. I honestly never even heard of that. That's wild.
Oh, it's the worst.
The worst. It's when your body. Have you ever had your body can't move?
You
Like,
literally wake up and know you're dreaming, and you
No.
cannot move.
Nah, I never had that happen. No,
It's-
I smoke
it's
a lot of weed before I go to bed, though. So
But I do too.
That's why you don't dream anymore.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I don't dream because I smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah, you are dreaming. You just don't know it.
You know what's funny? I think I have like pre-sleep dreams.
No, you are having dreams. You just don't remember them. Like,
Because of the weed.
yeah. No, it's crazy. Like I have friends
fair.
who like I remember like back in the day, like in high school, like a guy who would smoke weed for like, at least 15 years. Like when he quit, he was having like insanely vivid dreams they all came back exactly. Like he had shut them out for so long that like they just came back with a fury to where he was having scary dreams like that because he just hadn't dreamed in so long.
That's what I'm afraid of. Is I think I prefer it because I have the most horrific imagination, like horrifying. I can picture things that if you put on a movie, I would be arrested. Like it is disgusting and so scary inside of my brain. And so, but like in a fun, cool way, in a monsters way.
Yeah. You see, I think if I didn't smoke before I went to bed, I think I might be psychic. Like I have these weird things.
Wow.
I have the weirdest freaking thing where like I wake up and I'm like, what was I dreaming? Like, what was I just dreaming? Like something very normal just happened. It's always like the most normal thing. Like it's never like anything like crazy. It's always just like a normal thing, like this. Like I remember, like I dreamed this, like sitting talking to you guys in the middle of my office, and I didn't know you at the time. And then like 6 months later, like I'll be like doing something, and like that image will flash in front of me. Like I saw this image in my dream, and I didn't know these people then, or like that wasn't happening then. Like, and it's weird because it happens to be like 6 months to a year later or something.
So you remember that you had this image after the actual image comes true.
Yes.
So you're precog, man. You're fucking precog.
Yeah, you gotta like stop smoking weed for like a month.
I know.
Like 1 month.
Both of you do. And I would like to be on the show a month from now and see these responses.
No, I think I
I'm
don't
too scared
know.
to know
I'm
what
too
happened.
scared
Yeah, I'm
too.
too scared to find out. But
yeah, honestly.
But yeah, no, I definitely feel precog status. Where like, but it's always like, if I was on Heroes, like the thing that I would foresee is like a coffee date. Like it wouldn't be like
sometimes that's
the
useful.
end of the world happening or anything like
Sometimes
that.
a coffee date can lead to wonderful things.
It's very true.
So you never know.
Very true. Well, if you want to hear something more about me and Jen, I think we got a little past ourselves there. But Rocha and I did talk about it on the Smackdown recap show this week. Go check it out. I mainly just wanted to bring it up since I had said the wrong information on our recap. So
kidney disease.
We only got a little bit of time left here, and I think this would be the most entertaining use of our time is WWE did a survey today via Instagram, and I wanted to see what you guys thought about some of these things. It was
I like this.
It was, do you think these things will happen in 2019 in WWE?
They would know, wouldn't they?
So they're just telling us what's going to happen and then being like, well, is it?
This is some lazy creative writing. Which one do you want to have happen?
Or it's brilliant because they'll read the comments and then they'll be like, okay, don't do that.
You know what's funny is you say
That's
these things, and I don't think any of that is taken into
They
consideration.
just threw a thing
I
up.
think it's a guy who's a writer on the site trying to think of content for Instagram.
You know what's funny?
Never passes that information to anyone upstream. No one ever gets a taste of it.
You know what's funny? You're totally right.
Yeah.
Because I
100%
know
an intern.
I know some dudes who like work in the like social media, digital media, and like content creation departments. There, they just post shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine Vince McMahon getting an email that says, "Here's the poll results of what people want to see happen in 2019." You think he's opening that email? No. No.
They're way too busy to care about this.
Yeah. And anyone who does open it, if they tried, well, that poll we did on Instagram, they said this, he'd be like, what?
Somebody fire that intern.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. I love it.
So I'll bring up the most relevant ones
I
here.
would be that intern.
Yeah, me too. Braun Strowman will win the Universal title, yes or no?
Yes.
Gotta happen, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta happen.
I hope so.
It'd be really silly if he didn't. Imagine a whole other year of Brock Lesnar being the Universal Champion.
Jesus Christ.
And but you both had that reaction,
Yeah.
but you both know it's possible.
Yeah,
Well,
of course.
that's
That's why we had the reaction.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hope Braun gets it
We
this
had
year.
the reaction of like you telling us that was fact.
It was like,
Truth.
Yeah.
Okay. The Bellas will win the women's tag team titles. Oh, Rocha hates
I
this
don't
one.
think. I don't think yes, but no. Yeah.
Are you high
No,
now?
I'm not. I just came from work.
I'm gonna try and guess what you just said there.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Rocha, what do you think?
This is tough.
I know.
It's because WWE tweeted the picture. Or you tweeted
I
the picture.
tweeted it because I was
They
like,
got me in
oh,
my
that's
head.
an interesting one.
Yes. Yes. I think they'll bring them back again and they'll defeat somebody as heels or faces to redeem what happened with the whole Rousey thing and their reaction to them. And it'll be right as the new season of Total Bellas is about to premiere.
But there's so much going on. Oh, you're right.
I
heard Total Bella's right while I was
Yeah.
starting to talk into that.
Me
You're
too.
right.
I was like following it. I'm like, maybe. And then he says, premiere Total Bellas.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep,
that
yep.
does make sense.
Synergy, people. Synergy.
To be honest, though, I wouldn't
Fine.
hate it.
I know you wouldn't hate it. You wouldn't mind the Iconics win the damn thing.
I wouldn't mind that either.
Thank you.
I think the Iconics are brilliant. I love them very much.
Yeah, I would love them to do the women's tag team title.
I would love them to
think
learn
they're-
how to wrestle.
Well,
Oh.
okay, but here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
Goldberg. Like,
And I said he's a
Yeah, but-
four-move wrestler.
To be
They
fair, he
threw
did
belts
throw,
on him.
He did throw.
They did. I know
he
you're
did
right.
He
I
did
didn't
talk
like
shit
it.
on Goldberg too, though.
I didn't
no,
like it.
That's fine. I don't care.
Ken Napsok hates Goldberg.
I kind of don't care. You know what?
Yeah.
I kind of don't care.
You don't care if they get him.
I don't care if they can wrestle.
If they okay.
I think that they can wrestle enough. I think they can wrestle enough. I don't get pissed when I watch them. I don't
Okay.
think that they're dangerous. So that's important
Yeah.
to me. I think that there's room to learn.
hurt people. You is what you mean?
I
Dangerous.
don't
Gotcha.
think that they're dangerous.
That's
I
fair.
think that they have room to grow and like hone in. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that if they got belts, they would probably put in a little bit more work to do that instead of work on their gimmick so much as which they've been doing amazingly.
Let me offer you another avenue here.
Yeah.
do you think that's okay if they're barring 2 other ladies who can wrestle from getting that spot?
I do think that's okay because it's not a physical competition.
And I also think that
but if they'd earned
in
it, I feel
WWE, it's not necessarily about who's the best wrestler. It's about who's the best character.
And and I also
and they
think
are an entertaining character. And they are passable in the ring.
And I think that they have a lot of room to grow, and I can see a really big future for them. And I think that it's kind of akin to when the New Day got together after they got past their like preacher gimmick, and you could see Xavier Woods start to get better and better and better and better, and then we're at this point now where it's like, God damn, like obviously he was in TNA, like obviously he can wrestle, but like I think that to me, I'm the kind of boss that likes to incentivize people by rewarding them. Like I think that. You give people the opportunity to live up to the thing that you're telling them that I know that they can be. And so, like, I want to give them the belts because I like them so much.
That's fair. And, I don't, and that's the problem I have. I think they're not. And I always...
You think they're annoying?
No, well, yes, but I always clarify this. Those ladies have every right to earn their living and do what they're doing, and I would never stop them from having a job and being... The thing for me is, though, I think there are much more deserving female wrestlers NXT and at the roster. Because if you're at the...
Yeah, but you would
on
be
the
cool
main roster...
You'd be cool with Mandy and Sonya being tag team champions because they're pretty much on the same level.
Are you insane? No, I think they're leagues above Billie Kay and
I think that they posture leagues above.
Yeah.
I think that
Mandy was flipping Charlotte around the ring.
But that's
Billie
Charlotte
Kay doing that.
That's Charlotte. Like. You
mean Charlotte selling that?
Yes. Yeah. Flips are only as good as the person you're flipping, and
and he also didn't. He also felt this exact same way about Carmella.
I did
until they gave Carmella a chance to show that she's a good wrestler, and he changed his mind.
Exactly.
So
So I'm always open.
Yeah.
But I have my honest opinion in the moment, and then if it changes as it progresses, I'm always.
And
I
do think face iconics. If they were to turn face and were supposed to be doing what he wants them to be, kind of like putting on those kinds of matches, I think he would come around.
If they can get crisper, I'll absolutely come around them. Face or heel. If they just get crisper in the ring instead of like bending down 5 seconds before the move's supposed to happen. Those are the things that tell you this is a young or green wrestler. They have great characters.
Right.
Can't deny.
Yeah.
But the in-ring product has to now come up to the character product, and I hope that happens.
I totally get that. And I do agree, like, to an extent, I do think the title is a prop. As it relates to storyline. Yeah, of course. I mean, and like they'll tell you that. But like I also agree that there has to be integrity to it, and there is integrity to it, obviously. So I do agree in that respect. Like you're right. Maybe there are some women who are more deserving of it. I just want to see what they'll do. It's kind of like giving Joffrey the crown, Like, is he the best king? No. But is it going to be fun to watch? Oh, yeah.
Well, let me ask you.
Good point.
It's good. Who do you think will be the first female tag team champion?
It's got to be Sasha and Bailey.
You think?
If it's not Sasha and Bailey at this point, it will be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? No?
And will they have separate tag team champions for brand? Will there be a Raw Women's Champion? And will there be a SmackDown Tag Team Champion?
Well, okay, so I don't know, right? And like we said, it could have been an intern. But this picture did have them as red. And I know it's not the actual titles. I know that that's not the actual title they're using.
Right.
But it does feel like it might be a Raw thing since that's where it was announced.
Yeah.
If they're gonna have it on one brand, it's gonna be Raw.
It's gotta be.
Right.
But on the same token, like SmackDown
has way more women tag teams.
Yeah. I don't have any idea.
I want to see a Charlotte Becky Tag Team Championship.
I like it.
As it goes down the road, not off the bat, right? Because that's how the prop's been used before.
Yes.
Yeah.
You put people together who don't necessarily,
Yeah, but I like their new gimmicks together more than I ever have in the past. Like, I think that they're both like queens.
Oh,
and they're ruling from different hemispheres, and they're coming together as a peaceful discourse of at any moment. It's like Mary Queen of Scots and then Queen Elizabeth. Yeah. It's like you know that at any moment I can cut your head off, but in this moment that we're gonna be queens together.
Who's gonna be Mary Queen of Scots in this scenario? Eventually,
I would say probably Becky for obvious reasons. I would say not only because of the most obvious reasons.
Pedigree?
No.
Legacy?
No, because of the red hair.
Okay, next question.
I bow to that.
Let's see. This one's Finn Balor to SmackDown Live.
Yeah, I can
Seems-
see that.
yeah,
Absolutely happening.
I can see that.
With Cien Almas, with Ali, Mustafa Ali, all these high flying guys, he fits there.
Perfect.
Absolutely fits there.
He seems like a shoo-in for that.
and he could be reborn there.
I totally agree. I can't stop giggling every time anybody says Finn Balor. It makes me like giggle because I think about all of the pictures he posts on
Just
Twitter.
think about his junk being
junk just, like,
on full display.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh,
His
you're
shorts-
one to talk about putting your
Listen.
body parts on full display via social media, Miss Rachel Sam Evans.
Okay, but I don't like go pelvis forward and then caption it dinner time because he did that. And that's the only thing. Every time I hear his name, it's the only thing. And he is, one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it deserves all the respect. And all I can do is think about dinner time, and I can't get it out of my head. I feel like
I have uncomfortable feelings when I see him.
Yeah.
good ones, right?
Come
on.
The shorts are too tight.
Are you kidding me?
He's a little too.
He doesn't like in 2000 in the current day and age.
Yeah.
He doesn't like wrestlers in
Little tights?
Yeah, in
I'm
just
not a fan of it.
underwear.
I'm not a fan of it.
He's not a fan of it.
Well,
It-
you are
it throws him
alone
off.
in that.
Yeah, I'm sure I am. Especially the revival drive me the
No
most.
dinner
nuts.
for you,
Yeah,
Rocha.
no
No
thanks.
dinner for
I'm
you.
quite happy not having that dinner.
Yeah, no. I support. I just want to go on record and say that I support it across any promotion, any body, any shape, any size. If the littler the tights, the closer to God.
Hey-o.
What?
No.
I don't think that's
Usos
what
miss
I
we're
think the
supposed to say.
littlest you could get is naked Midian, where he had it seemed like it was
Oh yeah.
his butt was kind of out. I feel like you can't go.
Val
lower.
You
Venus.
can't
Val Venus
No,
wore
that's what
flesh colored.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
true.
Yeah, right. Every once in a while,
Yeah,
he wore
but
the
that's
flesh colored ones.
disorienting.
That is
Yes.
very
Because
disorienting.
that's like
So is Finn Balor.
no, it's not.
Like, I
It's
was-
very
It's
orienting.
like when I was watching. I've been watching Black Mirror and.
Yeah.
The USS Callister episode where either you guys seen that episode?
The
Yeah.
Star Trek one.
The Star Trek one,
Yeah.
where he is talking about they don't have body parts or whatever, and he's like, look at it, and he pulls down his pants. There's no penis there. It reminded me of that. Okay, since the red light came on,
Oh, yeah.
Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey will happen. Seems
Yes.
obvious.
Yeah.
Yes. This one's to me obvious. No. John Cena appears on NXT.
I think he'd do it as a stunt.
I just don't see him.
He doesn't have the time.
He doesn't have time.
Yeah.
He's
got hair to grow.
He's got hair to grow. Did you guys see the Nikki Bella is dating?
Is dating? Is that?
Who's
oh,
she dating?
She's dating her partner
partner.
from Dancing with the Stars.
Okay, but why?
That is a basic B move.
Honestly, it really is. It's like
Right?
It's like you're gonna Mr. and Mrs. Smith me.
Yeah.
That's when Brad Pitt left Jennifer Aniston
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie.
I got what you meant there. I
famously.
worked at TMZ. Okay.
You're right. You're so right. But listen, I support a bitch to do whatever she wants.
Yeah,
And
totally.
if she is getting that dancer D, I totally support that. The acrobatics.
Yeah, I can
Can
only
you
imagine.
imagine she could do all the flips and then he can also do all the flips?
Seems like a lot of work, but yes.
John Cena's traps are too large to do those
Way
kinds
too
of
large.
flips.
Way too large.
I could have saved her 3 years from that episode where they met on the frickin' pier.
Yeah.
I was like, this man is never going to marry you, and you
No.
are never going to be okay with it. But people
Even
in
the rules, too.
relationships,
The rules,
the people in relationships lie to themselves all the time.
Constantly.
And this was, you kept watching. I was like, girl, I've been there. I'm telling you right now, you better
Girl,
be
I've been
smart to
there.
walk
Girl,
away.
I've been there.
Yeah, I've been the man who was like, no, she'll change her mind. I know she will. Nope, they
No,
never
they
do.
don't.
They never do.
They
And
never
you know
do.
it. You secretly know it too the whole
Yeah.
time. It's
Well,
the
I hope
worst.
they are happy though.
I hope.
I hope she's much happier now.
Well, they both. It's amazing how you can put your relationship out on the airwaves to be used for fodder by other wrestlers to
gotta
make
be
fun
rough.
of you.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
I dated a SoundCloud rapper once,
Oh!
and
I
and
could see that with the hair.
yeah, and a very similar situation happened where there was
You dated your Dancing with the Stars? girl?
no,
Okay.
not very similar. I'm saying it was a public thing. And
Oh,
then,
right.
The
And then
SoundCloud rapper's getting Dancer D now.
Yeah. Yep. He went on
Really?
Dancing with the Stars. No.
Rapping with the Stars.
No. And then there was it doesn't matter.
He put your stuff on blast.
He put my stuff on blast.
Like in a song?
Yes.
Shut up.
I know. I know. I felt kind of cool, and then
That's
I felt
kinda cool.
it was kind of cool, but I didn't have a hot dancer to like go
Right.
off to.
You should have found one.
Yep.
Or other rapper.
So if there are any like dancers, no, I don't want that.
you don't want that.
I don't want that.
What's the rival to SoundCloud?
I don't know. There is
YouTube
none
star?
because SoundCloud is not a thing.
Yeah.
Spotify rapper.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
Spotify rapper.
Yeah, I'm a Spotify rapper.
Imagine going telling people that.
Save my playlist. Yeah.
Nailed it.
I support him in his career, though.
Totally.
I hope he can get all the girls he wants and needs.
Fuck.
I agree. I did.
No way. Hey. Seth Rollins will win the Royal Rumble match. I actually predicted this one this
You
week
did.
on
You
the
did.
show. I'm going yes on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked me into it. Yes,
Yeah.
on the
All
show.
right. We talked about that one already.
Was
this
that
week.
not your initial opinion?
No. Was it did I say
Strowman, I think, yeah.
Strowman is a possibility, except because they kind of floundered the Money in the Bank thing with him, and so I think
Sure.
they had to give him a shot at the title, but. Or McIntyre. It was going to be Strowman
That was
or
what
McIntyre.
it was. No. That was
it
who
Drew?
you picked.
Yeah,
was
it was Drew
McIntyre. You picked Drew
McIntyre.
McIntyre.
Oh, I can kind of see that. He's a force.
I just don't see them putting Drew McIntyre in the main event of WrestleMania yet. I think he's going to be one of
you're
the
right.
focuses of Raw going
Yeah.
forward, but I feel like they, in their mind, could be like, oh, well, Seth is a sellable name
Right.
already at
And
this
then
point.
you start the Seth McIntyre feud. That makes sense, yeah.
That's my guess.
Hair v. hair. Why don't we get any more hair matches? Because people don't want to cut their hair, like it's humiliating.
Right.
Probably so.
Okay, got it.
And also, yeah, like a lot of the wrestlers have long hair. It sucks to cut that.
kind
branding,
of
man.
humiliating.
Yeah, it's like they only do it when someone's like already planning to make. We got
Yeah.
Baron Corbin.
They
Be
could have
happy
done
with
it.
Baron
They
Corbin.
could have done
Yeah.
it to Baron Corbin.
They should have done it with Baron Corbin.
I don't think he would have been down for that.
Probably not, but they should have.
Yeah, you're
That's what they
right.
should have done. Carmella to Raw.
Sure.
I'm saying yes. Yeah, seems possible.
I think it's time, and yeah, I would say that.
I think she needs new storylines. So
Yeah, me too. I think she needs a little change up. I think change of scenery would help.
Yeah.
Wyatt family reunites.
Please.
Me too. Yeah, I think with all of them being injured and so much time off from all of them, I think that's why they want you to forget about the Wyatt family.
But what does Bray keep tweeting about? Why is he dead? Why does he say he's dead?
That's what I'm saying.
I had heard he was gonna go through some sort of like
I am not a god.
character shift, like it was gonna be similar but different a little bit. I could see them bringing the Wyatt family back with like a less scary vibe and more like tough dudes vibe.
I don't need that.
We
I
don't need
need
that
that.
American badass taker. We don't need that.
American badass
We
Wyatt
don't
family.
need that American badass. I think the Wyatt family is dead and never coming back.
Never.
No,
Yeah.
and
As much as people want him back.
if they are going to come back, they're not going to do anything other than be the Wyatt family because that character is so close to Bray Wyatt's heart. Like that idea of the Fireflies and like that whole thing is just so special that like don't come back as. Be something completely different. Don't come back as a do your own thing.
What if they're
Don't
just like
do it.
themselves though?
I want the Wyatt family.
You want them to be the
Yeah,
Wyatt
but here's
family.
the deal.
Yes.
I love the Wyatt family as well, but I don't want them in the WWE because creative never gets it right with them.
I agree. They've
Yeah, but
always
they have
they've always
creative.
struggled with the
They
Wyatt
always
family.
struggle
But
Wyatt.
here's the really, really fun, exciting thing about the WWE is that it's such a tough place to work that there's a new writing team every year.
That's
true.
also a good point.
Yeah.
too.
So I
yeah.
want to see what they do.
True. Good point. Fair point on
Okay.
that one.
Sure.
The Rock will enter the Hall of Fame.
Not yet.
You think he's waiting until down the
I
line?
think he got one more match or something. Like he's got a little bit of something coming down.
I also think that I agree. I think that retires him in a kind of like, perspective way. Like I think it retires you.
Right.
And I think,
I see Undertaker going in before The Rock.
Did they retire Austin already?
Yeah, he went in a while ago.
Triple H has been retired? Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. Has he been in the Hall of Fame?
Triple H is not in the Hall of Fame.
See, I
no.
think those guys are going to
That's-
go in before The Rock does.
Yeah, I think so too.
Rock is the cherry on top of that
Well, 'cause
attitude
The Rock,
era.
Yeah.
I mean,
He will go last.
Rock's one of those famous people in Hollywood. Like you save
Yep.
that until like down the line.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
like there's no reason to rush him in. Because you're right. It does semi-retire someone.
He
if
also
they haven't
doesn't
said it.
need to be recognized.
Yeah.
He doesn't need another thing.
Right.
You
True.
know? Like he's already almost the president.
Yep.
Like he doesn't need to have a trophy.
His will be when he's old. I think
Yeah.
The Rock will go
Yeah.
in when he's old.
and people are gonna be so excited to see
Yeah.
him.
He'll drop his catchphrases. Everyone will be pumped.
Yep.
It
Yep.
sucks
That's the
that
way.
he doesn't have eyebrows anymore.
He doesn't?
He has no eyebrows.
Yeah, you're right.
It sucks
Yeah,
because
it
he
does.
can't do the people's eyebrow.
He'll grow it back. He'll bring it in.
And get those chola eyebrows.
Yeah, just drama. Yeah, I support that.
I can say that.
Let's see. Batista versus Triple H will happen.
God, I hope not, but probably.
I love Dave Bautista.
I do too. I don't want him. I don't want the fans hurting him again. I
think
hated
no.
what they
I
did.
think he's untouchable this time.
He's going to come back in with open arms.
He's a superhero.
So badly.
They
hurt
did.
him.
I think.
And he's a sensitive guy. He took it to
But
heart.
he's
Yes.
a superhero now.
Yeah.
He's got that Marvel money
Yeah.
now. He doesn't need this.
Well,
He's got so much Marvel money that he's able to turn his back on Marvel
Yeah.
now. You know? So
Yeah.
like,
that's essentially what's happening.
Yeah.
So that may be why he comes back.
yeah.
Well,
I'm
no,
going.
I mean, he's going to... Well,
it's going to happen.
different... Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Also, I'll watch Triple H fight whenever I can get it, honestly. I like watching...
Not against Taker, though, man. That was tough to watch.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's tough to watch for a lot of reasons.
I
though.
love Triple H. I do.
I'm
But,
going to
like,
skip some of these to Raw, to Smackdowns in the interest of time. And the last one I'll do, because we got to get the hell out of here, is Velveteen Dream will win the NXT title.
I struggle with this one because I know he's a controversial person within the company.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he... Call me up, Vince? Because
He
he's
does
brazen.
kind of. He does.
He's
a
brazen.
very cocky dude.
But on the same token,
Okay.
Triple H called him out as one of the most bright stars
Yep.
that he's seen. Somebody who, and I agree with him, and I love him, and I will take it. But I also think he's a little young. That doesn't mean anything because Ricochet is also young. But
Yeah.
I would
But not on the same level.
not
Ricochet
at the
comes
same
with that
time.
pedigree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Indie
not the
pedigree.
same time. Yeah, I agree. I agree with myself. What am I talking about? But I agree, Rachel. You're doing great, sweetie. Yeah, no, but I think he's too controversial. Maybe at this moment, I think they need to make him like suffer a little bit for.
You think he will?
I don't like it. I think he should win it and go right to the roster and be done with it. Velveteen Dream is one of the greatest characters I've seen in the last 25 years.
Yeah, I agree.
And a young kid. And he's got the humor. And when has cockiness been an issue in professional wrestling? I'm looking at Triple H, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. They're all cocky assholes. Jericho. They all find their way into success because it's that cockiness that gives them the self-confidence to override anything else to get to the top. And Velveteen has that.
You know what? You're totally right.
I
Like
love him.
it's kind of I adore like Prince is my everything, and
Oh,
so
yeah,
when I
fair.
saw him debut, I was like, well, this is my new thing. But I do see kind of like glimmers of Stone Cold in him. Like I see a little
Interesting.
yeah, and not in the way that they wrestle, not in their style, but in the way that they're like, I'm so good, I'm undeniable.
And their swagger?
And their swagger, absolutely. Like he can go up against Vince, he can paint that on, he can go around costuming backstage, paint that on his trunks, and walk out and feel confident about it. Like. Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Has there been a black NXT champion besides Big E? Is he the only black NXT champion they've had?
Probably. Because there's never been a full black champion in the WWE.
And he was
Yeah.
really like
as a
in-
main champion.
And he was
not
really like in the Hulu era Big
Yeah,
E. Like it wasn't
yeah.
even really in like the WWE network era
Right.
of NXT. Yeah, you know what? Because of that,
Well,
I
Sasha-
think he should.
Sasha's been the
but
only
I
one.
meant the world,
The female, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
He absolutely deserves it.
He deserves it.
He deserves it.
But-
I agree with you in the controversial nature, but just from listening to Triple H talk about Velveteen Dream, I think he respects his cockiness a little bit.
No, it's funny. This might be a little too like inside baseball, but only of like Rachel Evans, not of the world of professional wrestling. But the way that Triple H talks about him reminds me of the way that you really believe in somebody, you bring them into your company, and you're like, God, you're gonna be great.
Yep.
And people like the person who owns my company talks to me like that. Like, oh, I wouldn't trust you in a meeting by yourself, but like, ooh, I love what you got going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like they're like, oh, you're a diamond. I have to polish you a little bit more before we elevate.
That actually also is a very good point too, because
But-
I was kind of I always felt that way at TMZ, where it was always like hey, you're gonna be good, we're gonna polish you up a little bit,
Right.
you know, and type stuff. So and then they kind of made me a manager or whatever. But like I do get that vibe a little bit as well. That Triple H
Absolutely.
definitely is like this is a special thing.
But I also do think that putting the strap on him would probably, in the same vein of the Iconics, would probably incentivize him to become a champion and not just this punk. Not to just come in and be like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever I want. He's like, no, I kind of am the face of this company right now.
Yeah, and that's when you bring up Punk, that's the thing he is to me. He's a combo of CM Punk and Randy Savage. That's what I see when I see him, and I like it. And I like it. He's never going to be Hogan. And he's never going to be that kind of vibe.
Thank God.
Well, but, he's never going to be that kind of level flair. I don't think he's got that necessarily, but I think he's going to be one of the greats when he gets that opportunity.
I hope so.
And if they don't blow it in creative with him and giving him storylines that they're kind of
just making him like Goldust 2.0 or something like that.
Oh my God, Black Dust is what Aaron said. Black Dust.
I get worried of that too. All right, we got to head out of here. Right. Everyone's got places to be. I got to get some rest before Wrestle Kingdom tonight. Rocha, where can people find you on social media?
You can always find me at the Rocha Says, my homage to The Rock there on Twitter and on Instagram. Tweet at me about wrestling. I love talking about wrestling with people. Do it.
And also, he's available on. You can check everything he's doing at Collider Sports here. Collider. Many Collider shows.
Just put Collider
just
in
go
front of it.
follow Rocha and you'll see the plethora of shows that he is on. Rachel, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Rachel Sam Evans or Rachel Sam Vans. Depends on how your brain works. But please don't follow me if you don't like boobs, okay? Please, please, please. Just leave me alone.
I couldn't imagine not liking boobs.
Yeah, the hate that I get. If you don't appreciate the female form, then I implore you to seek social medias elsewhere.
There are people that responded to those possibly topless, whatever you want to call them, photos with negativity.
Silhouetted nip.
Silhouetted nip.
It's tasteful. It's tasteful.
I see.
Yeah, see, that's tasteful, though.
It's very tasteful.
No, I said it was also.
This is like Rihanna Umbrella.
But that's not the picture he's talking about.
This is Rihanna Umbrella.
No, that's not the picture he's talking about.
More.
Yeah, there's kind of a more.
There was one that was much more hard. That was
okay.
I post the bad stuff on Twitter because my mom doesn't know how to use it.
Oh, smart. smart.
But listen, I'm allowed to. I just want to say once and for all, I'm allowed to love wrestling and also have boobs.
Yeah.
So please let a girl do both in 2019.
Why can't I find that? Did you post like one that was in your Instagram story maybe that wasn't?
Did I post it? Did I? Oh my God.
Was like there's one Instagram that was much more from the side that I'm not seeing.
Oh.
Was that on your private one?
Oh my God. Do you know what happened?
No.
It got reported on Twitter.
Because I was going to say, I saw one that was a side view.
No, there is full porn on Twitter.
What?
There's P and V on Twitter.
I follow lots of porn stars.
Somebody posted my very... I'm going to post... Hold on. I'm going to tweet it again right now. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Do you know porn stars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of porn stars.
What, dude?
What should the caption be?
The caption should be
Ryan.
We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure this out in a second. I'm at Ryan Satin on social media. You can follow me there at Wrestling Sheet as well. Follow the YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/Wrestling Sheet. Like this video, share it, leave a comment. All that stuff helps out a lot. That's it. Okay, we're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt and keep your eye on the sheet.